Did it say something? It is recording, but
It is recording.
yeah. Oh, that's Jitsi that makes that weird voiceover. Anyways, so good morning.
Good morning. Wait, what question? You want to publish this?
Uh, yeah. Depends.
But
We can keep it quite.
depends, yeah, because I still like I will have my break, but I'm not sure if I want this to be published. But we'll see.
Then it's
So
okay.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Then
because
just
it's
keep it
my breakfast
backstage.
is full.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I just don't want to have the pressure of.
No. Yeah, we have to do makeup and Anyways,
Yeah.
or we can make a makeup tutorial. So.
Yeah, I just came from running.
I see. Yeah, I'm staying at friend's place, so that's why I'm in a nice terrace
Oh, so where are you now?
in Bielefeld. It's
Is it in between
somewhere.
Cologne?
No, it's more like between Cologne and Berlin. Like if you take train.
That's a big of a distance. That doesn't work.
It's not. It's more like a third from Cologne, or maybe a quarter. Like if you're
So
going to
is
Berlin,
it like more is more close to Frankfurt or still is
it's
Frankfurt
the
is
other
far?
side. Frankfurt is like more not south, but more to the center of Germany. Well, I don't know exactly, but the rail goes from Cologne to Berlin. It's more like kind
It
of
passes through
arc.
Frankfurt, huh?
No,
Like if I go to Berlin, I pass through Frankfurt from Cologne, from Belgium. I always
I
pass through
don't.
Frankfurt.
Is it? Maybe it's maybe different routes they have, but they
Could
have
be.
like
Like
Frankfurt is more
every
like
time I take my
no. Is it?
every time I take my train from every time I go from Belgium, I have to pass through Frankfurt.
Okay.
Yeah. Could be the trains, could be the thing through Belgium.
Yeah, could be the connection, but
I have my train from Brussels, Cologne, and Cologne, Berlin passes through Frankfurt always for me.
you change in Cologne.
Hmm. Yeah.
No, that's weird. But it could be. I don't know.
Could be like, this could be there is more. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I mean, could be like maybe the waiting, could be there is like maybe perhaps there is a faster route from indeed Cologne to Berlin,
Yeah,
but I think they're counting my waiting time perhaps. So for me to be
maybe.
there in 7 hours and a half, which is like the fastest route from Brussels, I have to wait in Cologne normally like half an hour, and
Okay.
then I will be just wait 7 hours.
Yeah,
So perhaps is that the
could be.
connections, could be the connections.
Yeah, that's possible. Anyways,
Yes, anyways.
so yeah,
Let me open
I
some files.
I was very stressed yesterday, and that's like actually
Yep.
kind of related to I didn't have much time to think about the proposals. That's something we want to talk about, right?
Yeah. By the way, happy Workers' Day.
Happy Workers' Day, and I was like,
Happy Labor Day. This is
happy late, yeah.
actually, so a friend of mine was telling me that this is actually illegal what we're doing in
No, it's
Belgium, at
a it's a
least.
it's a
Like,
creation. Yeah, I was like, so it's a bit crazy because last night, like, I had like motivation to go to a club, that it's not happen it doesn't happen often from me, right? Like if
right.
someone asks me to join, I might join, but I'm not like, let's go. But yesterday
Mm.
I had that, but Bielefeld is like small city. It's a city, but it's
I never heard of that. Yeah.
there's like an old internet joke that says Bielefeld doesn't exist. It's like a internet meme from 90s, like one of the oldest one.
It's
And
very situated joke because I don't
yeah,
get it.
yeah. And the thing is that it doesn't exist because you've never been to Bielefeld and your friends never been to Bielefeld, so it doesn't exist. It's like an old conspiracy theory that the like Germany, like they try to fabricate this city as a, I don't know, like a social experiment or something. I don't know. I forgot what the deal is, but it actually exists, or you can believe or not. And but anyways, like what I want to say is like there's like only like one party happening, even if it's like you know,
One party per year, and that party is a good party.
no, like in the city, like there's like just one party, even though it's, you know, it's a holiday today. So there should be like more things happening, but it's just one thing. So I went with my friend and yeah,
Yesterday.
so last night, yes.
Yes. And how was
Uh-huh.
the party?
Was okay. Yeah, like you know, I don't know. Like
Electro,
I
like
was
techno vibe or what?
it's like a reggae, like
Ah,
house.
okay, nice. I thought
Yeah,
it
it
would be
was
more
really
like hardcore, like German, yeah, techno
no
music.
rave. No.
Rave, yeah, rave style. Yeah, yeah.
No. Maybe there are like illegal raves happening. I don't know, but it was good. I was dancing a lot. I mean, we didn't stay long, but we came back. I
Was
don't
a free
know.
party?
Hmm? No, it's a
Was a free
proper.
party?
No, we had to pay. It's a proper club. I don't know. We
But
paid
and
like
was nice. Like, I mean, did you enjoy the, I mean, you know, like the lights, the sound, the party vibe?
oh well. The music was good. I think the people are kind of a bit lame. You know, like I don't know, like like these white German guys, they don't know how to how to dance. It's like awkward, but I was like at one point like watching people, and it's so funny like how awkward people are. Like, you know, they like dressed like some people dressed up super nice, but then like don't know what to do with with this music.
Right.
But I was enjoying. I think overall I was enjoying a lot watching people, and also I was dancing a lot. So what I want to say is like, and then we came back, I don't know, around 3. It was not too late. And then I slept and I woke up and I started, no, I didn't work. I was coding, but for my creation, it's my hobby. I'm not officially working today. So, and we're just chatting, right? It's just a chat.
But, but this is interesting because actually this concerns the application. And I was
Mm,
reflecting a little bit
true.
because yesterday I was having a conversation with Berno. I don't know if you met Berno? Berno is the couple of Danny. Um, and he's somebody who he works, he's from PAF, Berno
Okay.
Polson.
Mm,
Um, he's somebody like really, um, I have a really good vibe with him always. Like the way how also he
okay.
speaks, he's very, I mean, I think he's um very given.
Mm,
And also I don't like to use the word, but I guess it situates the like he's I consider him a smart person
mm,
in the way how he
okay.
navigates the spaces, and he's very given. So that's why maybe I will not mention somebody. I think I will never mention about somebody that is smart, because I think that's very is a very toxic word in this world to
Sure.
say that
Yeah.
you are smart. Considering, yeah. Um,
Yeah, I get it. I use it, but yeah, I get your point.
Anyway, so then, but with him, like I will use it because he's very given. He's very caring.
Mm,
Uh, he's very caring. Yeah. And anyway, so yesterday there was this festival. In that I'm trying to go for 2 years. It's called, I will send the link. Oscillation Sound
Was
Festival.
it was it the one that Olivia did something during maybe like a
Yes,
remote
like
performance? Yeah.
yeah. Oscillation. So I was also impressed, like quote, like without deviating too much. I was impressed like how much things like from the state of the art of things they happen in Brussels. Like this is
Mm,
not a huge festival. It's just like few hundred people, but it's really the state of the art. A lot of this, I mean, when I was talking also with Berno, also you see like the crowd is just really German. I was like, what are all these German people doing here? But it comes, I guess, from people who work with sound, I guess.
Mm.
Um, and that really threshold with the state of the art, I think. Um, so wait, Fritz cube oscillation.
Yeah, I think I found it.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah, so check the performance. So wow, I mean, I don't want to spend maybe whatever. The performance of yesterday. So first, like I'm trying to go to this performance for 3 years. I guess I didn't really make an effort. At the end, never happened. But 2 days ago, a friend of mine offered me a ticket to see the closing performance of that it was called at 8. There was a performance of if you go to the 30
Yeah,
at 8,
like
there was a
like this one,
performance.
or
Yes. Wow. So the thing was at a church,
okay.
and so I met Berno by chance, and it was great because so Berno really knows this crowd. I just came because I have a ticket
Mm.
from my friend who couldn't make it. And then
Okay.
so then he situated me like, what is this festival? Who is that person? Who apparently somebody who, I mean, the guy is like 80 something years old. He's a Belgium artist. It's kind of like a legend in these circuits. And the guy just do a, like, I think it's almost 1 hour of oscillations with the pipes, sound
Oh,
oscillations through the pipes, like organ pipes.
wow.
So it was a trip. Like it was really like the only time that I could compare with that. I don't know if I shared this experience with you, but it was the first time I went to Ars Electronica, that I told you that I have this experience that one of the teachers of the school in this festival that they organized the last 2 days in the workhouse, uh, that Mateus was also organizing that festival. It's a sound festival, and this guy called Enrique, uh, he was using, we think, his sound setup. That, by the way, is completely pitch black. You don't see anything. I mean, you almost see nothing, and
Mm.
it's just really blasting in this black cube. They close the doors almost. So yeah, it's really strong for the body. You just basically you
Mm.
trip or you get out because you really pass it. You pass this threshold really fast of hurting yourself because it
Mm.
hurts. But then if you pass that threshold, you are just tripping because it's a physical thing that it takes your body, yeah,
Yeah.
your blood. You feel it's completely, you are tripping.
Yeah.
And this guy was using, and in his set, uh, the samples of the takeoff of an airplane,
Oh
and
wow.
that thing was really, it was so intense, like, because it was this sonic sensation on the body. Like I kind of still feel it a little bit, but that sensation stayed in my body for some months, like was so intense.
Mm.
It was a sonic thing, like in feedback, like yeah, and it has this kind of a roller coaster feeling that you go, wow. And it's weird because then your head in a way also thinks that, I mean, the thing is, your body, you have this vertigo feeling, but you
Mm.
know that you're standing. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like it's completely, you're disembodied.
Mm.
um yeah,
You should
anyway,
really
so
you should really go to Mutec, Montreal. That's like one of the biggest festivals in that area, I think.
yeah, so I think the only time that I feel something, that was the first time I feel something like this through sound, and this is
Mhm.
the second time that I feel something so intense. um it was, yeah, it was tripping because then you have these organs and it's the same thing. um uh yeah, it was very nice. That was very nice experience, but also very demanding, no, for the body.
Yeah,
once
totally.
you Once he finishes, then you are like, whoa, I have to go back in the bicycle home, so I
Oh
really took my
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Also talking to Eva, like just being normal, like just being rational is really difficult because you are in this state of sense making.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Sense making, like, but in a completely different way that you have to, how to say, normal sense making is like somehow you rely on your sense, but this is something that you have totally different sense that you have to process.
I wouldn't completely like, I mean, I think like, I think I don't, maybe I don't get your point because I think like the idea of the sense making is just that you use more your senses when you don't know, when your head, when you cannot go, wait. So normally we go in autopilot, then we have to use less senses because not most of
Correct.
our life is autopilot. When you don't know the spaces, you have to go through. So the theory of sense making, I mean, from science, is that it's a social theory. Then when you are new to a space, you don't know the cues, so
Mm.
you have to use more your senses in relation with the symbolism that the space already. You need to situate yourself
Yeah.
through your body and the senses. So,
Mm.
but so when and the classical example of that is that you are new in the workspace and you go to the coffee machine. You need to start like thinking. I mean, it's a not it's a bi-directional exercise because it's your senses, but also you need to start. I mean, you need to use your symbolism.
Mm.
So maybe is that what you're trying to say? Like in that, I mean, that's the classical. I mean, the sense making is just this
Yeah.
this idea.
Yeah. I think
But
I get that. That's classical sense. Maybe I wouldn't say it's opposite, but it's like a different layer because if you have like really strong stimulus, then what you question is not like, you know, if you're not in an unfamiliar place where you can actually actively sense something, what you can look around or you can observe something. But in these performances, for example, is something that is invasive to you and that you
yeah,
have to process, right?
yeah, yeah. And then the natural response that you do and you see everybody does is closing your eyes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And yeah, in that sense, yeah, maybe makes sense to like in the because if since we are visual beings, um so then it's easy for our ears to close our eyes, no? Then the information
Mm.
is more focused on the auditive sensory, and after a while then you start getting more information, you are more tuned to receive more information, you are more sensible to the. It was wonderful. Like this thing is because it has. I mean, it's just the basic idea of oscillation, as you know, is just there is offset, right? Because there is this offset in the signal, then in between microtonalities happens. So you have tone and an offset tone, and these waves they go they're slightly offset, and in time they start sometimes, yeah, they start creating this multitude of things, microtonalities and other things that happens within the space. And this is the first time that I heard at the like organ in that way, and I was asking actually Berno, and I was questioning just because I was just questioning if in the past, like I mean, so in medieval times, people were maybe using these organs a little bit like that because I mean you're just surrendering your body, you cannot do anything.
Mm.
Um, but no, he told me that that this is just this modern, no, this idea like to exploring the sounds.
Mm.
but
I see.
perhaps people hidden in hidden times, they will, I mean, they will hide and do things. Because I mean, socially or culturally, you could easily say that the whole idea of Christianity, it basically it shares guilt with you as Christian. Then you should be ashamed of your body. So there is this constant denying of the instinct, the human instinct, and the body basically being naked. The holy sin, I mean, the sin, the initial, the first sin, and then covering yourself. So it's all this construction on denying your body. But so in experience like this, what you have is basically the opposite. You are in your body completely. You are in this, I mean, you are experience your body through not this thinking way, but it's just through a bodily relation with your body.
Mm, yeah.
So more animal than sapiens.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. I was like thinking a bit like your analog VR is like that too, no? In a way. I mean, I never tried it, so I don't know, but
Um, how, I mean, wait, I'm trying just to connect what I just said. Can you make some, can you make it more? Yeah, no, no, okay, it's true. That, I mean, the whole idea with the VR is very simple. Like, yeah, it's just trying to do an analog experience as the of what you will experience basically in VR. In that
yeah.
sense, it's trying to take you away from the normal thinking body and put you in the space of the sense making space. Yeah.
Mm. But then VR is like kind of I didn't see it this way, but it's like a collision of these like two worlds because I think how to say some people want to make VR that looks natural, right? Is that like not how to say? For example, like this is like more like idealistic, but you can experience being somewhere else in a more like a high fidelity way that you don't feel uncomfortable with your, like to not have uh how do you say? Yeah, like don't feel uncomfortable. Like compared to what you were saying, what we were saying before, it's like about like confrontation with the body, with the different space that you could do with
Yeah.
VR, which is actually easier with like generative art, for example, because then it's something that has totally different universe to the different rules than
But I mean, in terms of worlding, right?
yeah,
In terms of world creation. Yeah.
yeah, we'll create. Yeah, sure. This like more like let's say abstract uh representation, or not representation. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the right words, but like on one hand, like people are trying to make it like photorealistic that feels natural, and on the other hand, you could explore like for example what you're doing.
Yeah, but I mean, actually, this is more, I mean, I'm getting more information on papers and things, information on these topics, and this actually is is not an, I mean, although, like right away we will think, and that's, I mean, that's what the industry is doing, is trying to take this path, but it's absolutely not work. I mean, it's not gonna work. I mean, it will
No.
take time, like, because say, so there, I read somewhere, Carl Maldonado, he said that, maybe he said from somewhere else, but he says that then in history, like of art and science and technology, uh, you can see that art always comes first. No, the art always comes first at the vanguard, trying to explore things. Then science catch up, and then culture comes, right?
Mm, okay.
And the problem he was trying to situate that the problem that humanity has is culture. We always like, that's why we have clashes, basically difference. I mean, yeah, culture, societies, differences, culture. And so what a problem that I start seeing in VR, and other people are start they seeing in VR, is that because I mean it also it happens with other technologies, but it's especially toxic and could be very dangerous in VR, is because you can, the person, as in the Sonic performances, they have no agency. I mean, they are immersed in that space from which they are just there. You put them the glasses, if they don't close their eyes, they are in a place where they are absolutely vulnerable to whatever me as creator want to portray. And there's some people that start talking about neural rights, for instance. So the right of one to protect cognition somehow. Because
Okay.
if you are in that VR space, for instance, you that's yeah. So you basically you are a la merced, dirían in Spanish. Like you are there.
Mm.
You cannot. I mean, you have to close your gates or then get out. But if you are opening your eyes, you are completely vulnerable. So wait, what I was trying, the point I was trying to make is that yes, so in places like France that you see, they have these big efforts where they almost have this ministry. It's not a ministry because it's the Ministry of Culture that has these frameworks called the CNC, but also they have this CNXR, France. So the CNC is the Fond National de Cinéma in France.
Okay.
Cinéma National, whatever. Um,
Foundation.
but now now there exists this thing, Conseil National de l'Axar. It's crazy. Like when I was there, I was flipping. Like I put it just here. Like no wait, let's put it maybe in the chat. So it's crazy because they have these efforts, like national efforts. And the main thing, I mean, so like what I see in the last 2 weeks is like this is the ideas for masses, no? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This is for masses. So um we will not get into that problem. It's to start going into why or so, but because they're trying to do this, so this is for the masses. So as much people you can so make it accessible to much people as possible. Then you have the problem. How did I start? Why? Because I got lost now. How did I start? I
Like the
said
invasiveness, cognition, right?
invasive. Yeah, so yeah, but at some point I got lost in Carlos Martin, this idea of like art,
Ah,
science,
yeah.
culture, and I got lost. Why? I was trying the point I was trying. Ah, yeah, yeah. Wait. So the thing is, so normally that's why art, like you need art, because art, like by nature, like art doesn't needs to justify it. That's something that I read some days ago, and I like that. The idea that the art is never good or bad because it's always being judged. So at the same time, that's why you cannot judge it, because art judges itself. And then if you go out in the past, you have these ideas like the masterpiece, you know, the idea of the genius, the art, the genius, the artist of the genius. So it's always at the vanguard of like pushing what is possible, but whatever is in culture actually. Um but then because then you put it in the once you start like presenting content one-to-one to people, and just and art is not there, so there are three steps, no? So art, science, and culture. In a way, like science takes that process. I mean, technoscience has this process, also more than nowadays it would be more technoscience, has this process of acculturization of the art. Somehow it takes things from for the state of the art of artists, and then they put them in a way like the people, I mean, that in somehow that are useful for certain cultural purpose through science.
Okay.
So but then because then you have so then you have the third point, you have the culture from where they try to put the intention of these places like the CNXR is to give the focus on creating more content for one-to-one person, but the content is not situated because it has not passed yet through not even art, because it's not art really, there is not really art producing XR, not really, not too much. And so therefore also science, of course, is not even there because the artists are not there, right?
Right.
The artist has not start creating content. So of course the science also is not there, but there is a lot of mass now. And in France, for instance, there is, and in this festival, you see the families going there. So there is a lot of content. You go to the stores and there's a lot, I mean, there is this, the technology is accessible. And that's why I was trying to introduce this idea that is so dangerous because it's a wild west, and that it should, that we need efforts to give frameworks where artists can start pushing this, because then science can catch up
Okay.
following that idea that art, science, and then culture.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know about this like principle, more like a principle of this art, science, culture thing. But that, like, what I can relate is like a industrial revolution kind of thing, right? It's like, you bring XR, whatever it is, without the context or content, and then, yeah, I mean, so it's more like imposed thing than like people have like will to use it. I mean, I guess that's I'm trying to like digest what you said. Like what
I
happens,
think,
more like what happens if art doesn't come first.
that's a way, I mean, I mean, that's the play that I have in different conversations that I have heard or papers that I have read. Then there is this open question that you are
Mm.
mentioning,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
what, so nobody knows, but what is happening
Mm.
and can, is that also could be completely beneficial, because also it just offers, and it might offer a new paradigm shift of the whole human perspective. But I mean, the that's why I was mentioning science in that story works as regulator. What it let it pass to the masses in culture is,
Okay.
there's not a problem with a few artists or so, because the work of the artist is defining and its own life, and be completely miserable in that existential quest, right? But then culture, it helps as a regulator for, sorry, then science then works as a regulator through sciences for culture, and let it pass things, in a more safe way. Yeah. That's been the process historically since science exists. now it's like there is often people that speak of, because we are speaking here about a social problem. Then you go to the social aspect of VR, and then people speak often of things that happen in VR chat.
Mm.
And myself, I have not tried yet. But it's just a wild landscape, apparently, and can be for good or wrong also. And I have heard like really concrete examples, things that are so disturbing, things happening within that space, and there's no regulation.
Mm.
I'm not saying that we need regulation, and I'm more on the other side where I think like I'm not so sure that we need regulation, because what I think this is more like an opportunity to to create more like a dynamic system that it can find new ways to self-regulate without to put a concrete or solid base. That's the place,
Mm.
which is the place we live. We live in solid spaces, right?
Yeah.
Like institutions, law, and so on. We live in this binary world that is set on stone, normally in paper and cells and all these kind of things. So the idea of have like something that is more liquid, that is self-regulated, is more natural. But also as natural, it comes with my nature does also, like nature is not just a nice thing. Like nature, it has, I mean, yeah, this is I found it interesting, like, I mean, that discussion of like regulation. What my standpoint on there is that, and it's following other people also, is that it's interesting that that space, because also there's other spaces, and then uh because then when you speak about world, so is the conversation becomes about worlding, uh then are the users or the community which must self-regulate itself without an external, I mean, as much as possible, with an external superpower that is omnipotent.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit too abstract, and we're not policymakers, so yeah, and I lack. I mean, what I'm saying is I'm lacking like the you know experience in that. So I can say whatever I feel about, but that doesn't really make sense. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that. But this is ending. The call is ending. So I don't know if should we like switch to the next one and talk a bit about the proposal,
Yeah, more
or like
concrete. Yeah.
yeah,
More
unite.
go back
Yeah,
to, yes.
maybe not full 40 minutes, but let's try like 20-30 minutes. I mean,
Yeah,
would be good. Yeah,
yes.
because
And
we
I
started
think
a
we
bit
can
late.
upload it. We can upload this thing.
Yeah,
This
sure.
was okay.